tie up Dignitas at the 7-2 position with a win here. It is 7-1 versus 6-2 to start off, and these are two of the teams that are going to be looking like they will also be in playoffs. Now, to go over a bit of your picks and bans, we did see Dignitas kind of focusing the bot lane with their first bans and Yuumi and Lucian and Aphelios, making sure Immortals didn't have too much for Apollo and Gate. Apollo still comes away with the misfortune, so he's going to feel great on that. And then you look at the other side, the first three bands, Aatrox, Rumble, and Thresh, so a little bit of everything coming from Immortals. They wanted to hit Dignitas all over with the first few bands. Very heavy jungle bands from both teams on the second phase around. Trundle and Olaf from Immortals. You know, Dignitas said they felt like they needed to put Sejuani in there as well, but also took LeBlanc away from Insanity. So that's a bit of your ban phase to figure out how they came to be with these picks. We did see it being the first pick Soraka for Dignitas, so let's go Lorlo. Unique pick number 4 of the season. Let's see if he can bring it out here. Usually the aggressive player, the one that likes to go hard. We'll see if he can bring out the Soraka. Looking at that composition, there is a good bit of damage here and there. You obviously have Demonte unleashing power. Phoenix can get there in the fights, and he's been doing great at the marksman position, but there might be a lack of damage if Immortals takes over. You're playing from behind with a team like Dignitas has, and it's not going to be easy. Immortals bringing a lot of engaged. Grant Starfall as well coming in from Allure once you can get Pantheon up, the Ornhorn, and you're also going to be pulling somebody away from that Tom Kench or the Blitzcrank. So I feel like Immortals is better rounded here, but you pick the composition because you know what you're going to do with it. So we'll have to see how Dignitas formulates their way around with this Soraka comp and who they're going to be healing, who Ole is going to be saving. My guess is on to Phoenix. We'll see if that's going to be the guy kept up for damage from the marksman position as Demonte kind of finds his own positioning. Tough to do for both Averis and a Syndra to stay safe. To the mid lane, we've seen a few more Orns blowing their horns in the mid lane. We saw one today over in AU with G2's Perks. That went up against the Vayne, actually, which seemed to do quite well against the Ornn in lane, but still came back pretty hard in the fight phase, obviously. Here we have it up against the Syndra. Shouldn't be too hard for Demonte to farm. It is Unsealed Spellbook for Insanity and Electrocute over there on that side of Demonte. Watching Paluk farm up here. He did have an Elise game just last week versus Evil Geniuses. Played it fantastically. 2-0-7. So he came out very strong. The team overall was doing great that game. So coming into week 5 here, the halfway point of the split. Can you believe we're already here? Coming into the halfway point, you seem to be feeling good on that Elise pick. Other junglers having a bit of trouble not being able to dive as much or be aggressive. We see kind of the drawback of Insanity not hitting anything as he goes in for the headbutt charge there. You got to be careful. He leaves you out to dry. And you saw how much damage he took back. He'll heal that up. Refillable potion there in his inventory, so no problem. Acadian down to the bot side. It looks like they will get a scuttle for each. Potluck grabs the top one towards Herald, and Acadian will make sure that he has some safety here on the bot side while being there for Demonte, who's low on mana. Looking at the picks and bans, as I said, a lot of bot lane bans were focused from Dignitas towards Immortals. Apollo is playing fantastic this season. He is #1 at CSD, in CSD at 10, 480 carry. So this is a guy you're going to want to shut down. MF, pretty safe farmer, so we'll look to have him to have high CS in this game, already 29 to 25. And Apollo has the highest KDA overall of the Academy League at 15.5. Actually, 3 of the highest KDAs are in this game as we see a fight mid lane here. Insanity now going to take quite a bit of damage, and he goes down. As there's going to be no flash used there, he figured expending it would just cause him going down anyways, and he'd have an even longer cooldown to wait for. Teleport was just used back into the lane, I believe, as we see it on cooldown. And we'll see what he can switch it up for there. But yeah, 3 of the highest KDAs are in this game in Apollo, Phoenix, and Lorlo. Or I'm sorry, Acadian. So Acadian's on that list. Thank you. But yeah, it's actually been pretty strong. Oh no, it was Phoenix. I'm sorry. I'm right. Why am I second guessing myself? But seeing that just goes to show you how much power comes from both of these teams. Regather myself. And looking at that power, they tried to shut it down in Champion Select with 3 bans on that bottom lane. Yuumi Lucian, and Aphelios. Apollo, has he even been playing those? Let's even take a look. He has the Varus, the Misfortune, the Xayah, the Senna, the Ezreal. So he hasn't actually even played. Lucian's not necessarily for him, as we've been seeing it lately, to be honest. But it hasn't even seen him play the Aphelios. Doesn't mean he can't, but we'll see. 1-0 here as that starts off towards the mid lane. Insanity will be fine. You can gank an Ornn over and over, and there really won't be too much trouble. Slowly pushing it in. I love this. They're stacking that wave, and now Gate can kind of sit here and say, you're going to stand somewhere where I can pull you just outside of turret range? Obviously, it fizzles out quick as the minion wave comes up, but Immortals leaving those little options open every time. Nice movement by Ole to get Guardian stack off onto Phoenix. And he can stay safe with that shield. Potluck onto the Drake. We're going to start him early. And it looks like he'll be able to pick up the first one for his team in Infernal. That will switch over to a Cloud, and then we will get our soul for the map. But I'm really excited about this game being that kind of shot for who can go for first. 6-2 here for Immortals, 7-1 for Dignitas. If Dignitas pushes another win here, they get a little bit of a cushion. They feel good against the team that's right behind them. But like I said, these might be two of the teams you are definitely going to be seeing. It definitely might be, yeah. You are going to be seeing in your playoffs. Ooh, the double up wasn't there. Take down Ole. Oh, also does not proc off Cadian on that one. So just a back and forth Cadian looking bot side to get a flash, get something. They already look towards mid lane to take that down. It's Ignite for Insanity, so we'll see if we see Potluck coming back in that situation. 7 minutes here as we look towards the top side of the map. 39-53 in CS. But Lorlo staying alive. He's staying safe. Not much Lorem can do. Can't really get in with the Aegis jump. Comet Spears are really the only poke you can do, and then he'll heal it back up. So we'll look for Lorem to really affect the late game when the Ornn horn's coming down and he can fly over the shoulder of Insanity as they're going into the fight. It's going to look beautiful. I cannot wait. Negatron Cloak to start off. Maybe Abyssal Mask is that final purchase here to start, but maybe some HP next for Insanity. You can see that gold is in the favor right now with Demonte with that first blood going towards the jungler, but his assist in mid lane. Is Acadian going to give? What a nice guy. Buff transferred over as we get Alorum's first back on the top side. Looks like he may be able to walk this one back in, and Apollo is going to be on that spot already as well. So 8 minutes in, we've seen this happen a little bit more at 9 minutes, at 10 minutes. Immortals instantly want to set the pace of the game, and why not? You have an Ornn in mid lane now at level 7, and that's going to be a much bigger ult when the teams try to join together around that Rift Herald spot. Lane's pushed in as well. Gate's going to look for a pull here on Lorlo, and now the Soraka's forced out of lane. Still level 7 on that, so you have the ultimate, a little bit of the fight reset, but not the full potential of Soraka just yet. So you can't go in thinking we have Soraka on our team, everything's going to be great once we get into a fight. There is a hell of a lot of damage followed up with damage coming from Immortals. It's not just a front-end burst. You're going to have to be able to mitigate that twice, so it'll be much better for Dignitas when they get that redemption in there. The Athene's a little bit more healing, depending on the build Lorlo can get to quick enough to really supplement the damage they're going to be, or really supplement the fights that they'll be taking damage in. Rift Herald picked up by Immortals. The pace is set. They've got what they wanted, and now they're going to lose a bit of that pressure down on the bottom side of the map. Can they trade top? Doesn't look like it's going to be an instant use. Actually, it is. Coming up a little bit late, he walked away from the channel there. Boom. Potluck being tricky as he throws it over the wall. Nicely done. And now they're going to be able to trade that first brick as well. Goes over to the side of Immortals. It's just going to be a bullet time to clear the wave. Second hit on the turret. Apollo a little too close. One of us, we've seen that happen. We've all had it happen. Turret shots. Oh my God, a second turret here coming in from Immortals. Really speeding things up. And tempo is the name of the game as they set the pace. Now remember what I said, if Dignitas falls behind here, they're going to be in a sore spot to find the damage they need in these team fights. I wouldn't say falling behind by any means yet. We're just trading turrets here in the beginning of the game. No one has 7 kills on any side of the team. It's still a very level game. The map's just open a little bit more. The opportunities that Immortals can make are much greater. That window to be in the jungle and not have to worry about your opponent retreating to a turret, yes. But still anybody's game, and a nice trade back there on the bottom side. Alorum with a Comet Spear right to the buttons of Ole. He'll be able to get out of that one. He's safe. He's just just trying to be a harassy body. So everybody back down to the bottom now. Wow. Full map swaps. 1 minute for Cloud Drake. The amount of time it took topside means now they have numbers towards bot. They're probably going to be able to get all these places. The second wave is coming in what would be past their bottom lane turret now, so what will crash. Cannon minions to take up the 8 shots there with no damage on them. So they're going to get all of this as well before 14 minutes. The plates are coming through here for Immortals, and this is going to be 10 on the docket so far to start things off. The grab is in, the teleport's there. Have they been kind of thwarted here and remembering the plates were the goal? Scatter comes out, they couldn't get a Lorm on this one. Flag and drag misses him, but it looks like he can still go down as he's in the middle of the frying pan. Throws the shield up, there's going to be the Ornhorn coming back through. Dignitas not really deterred as they're still going for damage on gate. That's the stopwatch he just got at 10 minutes, and it goes to pretty good use, but it goes down with him as well, and that is going to be some good kills coming in for Dignitas. As Immortals, I think they could have backed off there, lost a little focus on the fight. Gate did not need to grab anybody there. The fight was for the turret, and now it's a dragon for Dignitas. They're going to trade the next Drake there. Beautifully done, and we'll see what soul will change the rift. Ocean coming in, something Immortals would love and something Dignitas would absolutely love. Heels on heels could be the story of Dignitas here. 3-0. The turrets were moved quick by Immortals, but the bodies were moved even quicker here by Dignitas as they got themselves back into position for some great defensive plays on the bottom half of the map. Still a bit of a goal. No, there isn't a bit of a goal lead. That look back up, those kills as well, bringing it back down to earth in terms of where Immortals was, 19.6 to 19.5, so it kind of evens things out there. Still looks like we're going to get good pressure towards the bottom side of the map. You can see how far the pink wards are pushed in here from Immortals. There's another one just towards the bot side that'll see Phoenix walking up. So if they can get back down to these 2 plates, they would love to. I don't think Dignitas is going to make it that easy for him. I like the stall out there. If Immortals got this, they just have a little too much freedom on the map. Soraka's going to go mid, so Lorlo takes control of that now, and it's going to be a side lane for Demonte. Just keep solo farming. They know they need time. They need to build up. This isn't a composition that just comes online when everybody hits level 6, even though all the level 6 and pressing are on the side of Dignitas feel pretty great. Has to be a few more items behind them to make this count. So it's kind of like you're okay with these going down. You don't want it to happen. You would have loved a great early game. But Dignitas now has to weather the storm, if you will, to make sure this late game composition comes together. 2-0-1 on Acadian, looking fantastic there. And Acadian is 63% of this team's first bloods. Lorlo is actually 50%. So you can see almost where that comes from. Not so much a Soraka lane this time. We saw it coming out of the mid lane. But Acadian, again, onto the first bloods. Kind of push that to the other side where Lorem has 0% first blood percentage and assists and participation with his team. So Potluck not really going up there as much. You know, you're kind of seeing Lorem provide his own kind of advantages and whatnot. We've seen him have great games. So a different style in the way that both of these teams work. And it seems like Acadian's pressure has really come out on top without even having to go to Lorlo in the top lane this time for where they had that high first blood percentage. So Dignitas figuring out a few more ways to get themselves an advantage in the game. They are falling behind a bit in gold, but that's just the way the map is moving, and as we said, the storm they need to weather. Immortals can still make that one hell of a storm. I do not want to be under the thunderous roar of an Insanity's Ornn, as well as a Lorem, as I said, coming flying over his shoulder. A bullet time coming over your head in that situation as well. Just so much shocking off from these ultimates on the side of Immortals. We'll see if they can... and see if they can put that to work. It's all easier said than done. A lot of times these can get disjointed. Things are happening late. It's not always easy to get the Pantheon ultimate timed immediately. As you blow the Ornhorn, the other team is aware of the engage, so people are going to be moving and shifting. It's up to Dignitas to separate in these fights. They have a bit of control now. Nice job pushing away the vision. They have had to walk through quite a bit to get here, unless they came straight up mid. You see that they had to walk through a few wards on the left side, especially towards Tri, and just above their wolf camp. To the mid lane fight, Lorem will pressure bot side. He does have that ultimate coming up for himself, so he'll be able to make an entrance. And from this side, the entrance is even better. He gets to go up the lane into the river, not down the lane towards the turrets. It's facing the way Dignitas is choked into that quadrant. Looks like both teams are going to separate sides, though. They say, fine, one rift is great. Let's go for a second-tier turret on the bot side of the map. And I love this play because I think by the time Immortals can react to what's going on the top side, a Rift Herald stops a second tier, or you stop that Rift Herald from getting a second-tier turret. We'll see how fast that happens in mid lane. They got to push a quick minion wave, and Apollo's going to make sure that doesn't happen right away. Herald is held by Acadian for now, and Immortals may be a little bit hesitant in the way they want to work this. With Dignitas pushing towards mid so quick, they're still just leaving Pantheon towards bot lane. It looks like Immortals kind of got scared out of their own strategy there. Instantly on the mid lane turret is still going to be the hit, and they even pull Pantheon now from bot. They feel like the resulting fight is going to mean more, and maybe a mid lane for Immortals. Ornhorn coming through right in the mid lane. That's going to be a double man knockup. Gate pulls one, but it's not going to be attacked under the turret just yet. Yes, it is. Kills for Potluck as they start things off. Bullet time didn't hit too many, and it's a good kill coming back with a piercing arrow from Phoenix. Beautifully done to take down Gate in the 1-for-1. The play wasn't really set up on either sides. It was Immortals approaching a fight, acting in the shadow of Dignitas there. I thought there was going to be another engage if Ole was going to try to gain in, or DeMonte got a scat of the week on somebody, but it fizzles out for there. And Insanity now taking an interesting path back in the fight. Not even going to get a knock up onto Ole, but he is going to keep himself safe. Watch out for the bottom. Potluck gets locked up, but they are right now on to Ole, and they take him down immediately. Over towards Phoenix. Will they be able to hit the cocoon? One auto attack, push him to the left side of the turret. No. He still is safe. They do not have cocoon cooldown coming up just yet for Potluck. They're trying to scare him out of the situation overall. Acadian's now back. He's going to walk into a real bad situation. He goes down immediately. All he wanted to do was ward, but it's one of the scariest jobs in the business. Warding alone. Usually it's don't cross the river without a teammate, but you can't even be in your own jungle at this point. And Immortals back and forth there was very touch and go, but they know they have the engage, the fight, and the way to take it to Dignitas. Great job on Dignitas for being able to trade back, position the way they need to position. Phoenix and DeMonte staying safe in those fights. The tanks or the supports going down how it should be. Immortals, however, coming up a little bit stronger on that one with a 2K gold lead, still damaged towards the bottom side of the turret now, and two of their outer turrets still standing tall. Just that middle one left here for Dignitas. We can kind of see the gold differences around. DeMonte has much more gold than Insanity does, but you are still an Ornn down 1,300 gold. You are still an Ornn. You are still engaging. You are still scaring the crap out of the opposing team. So he doesn't have to push himself into a situation where you're soloing out the mid lane. He's doing perfectly fine right now, getting some wards and roaming down to make sure he can keep tabs on the rest of the team. And if these ults can really come out of nowhere, they have a team that can catch up to a very far away engage. It doesn't seem like you're kind of left up the river without a paddle here. Gate can overdrive in. Pantheon's there. And Potluck, you get a bit of movement speed. You're not super fast in Spider form, but you can skitter on over there and get yourself into the fight with a repel. So they have a lot of ways to really get themselves to a fight that works in this competition for Immortals. Dignitas, I see they're still charging up. Almost there. You see the Athenes now are onto a little Lorlo as they go to a fight on Gate. A little back and forth. Nice make it rain by Apollo to kind of stop the second engage coming in from that bot crew of Phoenix and Ole. But Lorlo's Athenes are now up as he does damage. He can stack that up. A little bit of a bigger heal. And he starts to get some armor for himself. More mana on his Fairy Charm. Mid lane getting pushed. This is that last outer turret here for Dignitas. Ornhorn comes out. They're going to push him right off the turret. Oh my word! Crowd control for days. And they take down Ole immediately. He had no chance to get out of that situation. Gate actually has the Quicksilver Sash on him, so even if he gets locked up trying to take somebody out of a situation by Scat of the Week or a Chain of Corruption, he's still going to pull you out. They're still going to make plays. He gets a little bit more armor for himself on top of the Moby Boots and the rest he's been using to make these pulls work. But one of the pulls, bot side, kind of caused a bit of trouble for Immortals. Just because you can pull somebody doesn't mean you have to. Gate's always one of the guys that wants to make plays, and we see him doing that. He's still going to follow up with a few more good hooks here towards the mid-game. We're on 20 minutes now, as we're going to see Baron spawning 2.5. As we get our second Ocean Drake into the game, I should say. That one already stacking up onto the tanky side of Immortals, if you will. And the Nasher is ready to be nashed. Abyssal Mask upgrade. So that was going to be the first item for Insanity. Why not? You got a good amount of AP around on the other side. You're going to want to deliver a bit more of your damage. We'll see Dignitas being very reserved in their movements now across the map. Wards very far in front of even their footsteps before they move forward. Monte in a very, very scary spot here. Cadian does clear one ward. Nice far side alteration plays forward. I think that was by DeMonte as we just see his ward on cooldown, so he's keeping himself safe with that ward upgrade. Oh, Gate coming around the corner. Goes for the play of where DeMonte would be. Gate gets the quick silver sash on to save himself, but it could be a kill on DeMonte now. He goes gold on the stopwatch play. Potluck and Gate are very low. DeMonte's going to keep himself alive. That is the way that Dignitas needs to play this. If they can dodge all the shock and awe damage, that's when they reset the fight. That's when this team can come back. Now Insanity's out of place, and that Ornn doesn't look so tanky without a team behind him. Dignitas is able to dance that one out and pull themselves up by the bootstraps to look great in that fight. What looked like DeMonte being down was Acadian coming out to help his brother out, and the rest of the team being there with the heals and with the shields. Nicely done. Everybody on Dignitas to really orchestrate that one in their favor. I think Immortals is left a little confused on that one. They had a play that was technically a 3v1, quickly turned into a 3v2, and then they had to leave the tankiest member on their team who was ready to engage. Chaotic stuff doesn't mean it's over, but it shows you how Dignitas knows that they need to play this comp, and the storm is definitely being weathered. Ponchos are on. They got their galoshes ready. And Dig is ready to keep that first place spot in their favor. Immortal still has something to say about it. That's the second time we've seen Gate instantly take the ultimate from DeMonte. It happened just in the fight previously. This guy is getting that cooldown quick. And you're going to see it again. If they can get Gate out of the fight like that without a worry of them with a rebuttal, that an Ornhorn will be coming out or Alorum comes in, do it every time. He's going to have to start getting towards more magic resistance. Already has a bit more in his buy, honestly. 5-4, 22 minutes in. Dignitas now feeling a little bit more comfortable. The far side, like I said, they didn't have the chance to really move forward and place wards before, but the far side alterations on 3 of their members now allowed them to get into position to use this composition that can heal after the fight starts. So what we just saw. Can they rinse and repeat? It's hard. That fight is not easy to do every time, and here they're gonna have to do it again. 2 getting knocked up, the brittle stack. They are gonna be instantly onto Syndra. They saved DeMonte and they spit him back, and that's gonna be a scat of the week. Can they reset the fight now? There's the kill coming in from Phoenix. They're gonna now look onto Gate, but Phoenix puts himself in a real sorry spot. Can he stay alive though with the auto attacks? Potluck doesn't have the follow-up damage or auto attacks to do anything about it. And Phoenix makes the move that makes Immortals scratch their head and retreat from the fight with the follow-up damage of Dig. That's 3 down for Immortals, and Dignitas pushes through the mid lane. What a way to play this comp here. Just 23 minutes is all they needed to turn it on and find the fights they needed. And that's going to be a second-tier turret going in their favor. Gold's just about even, ladies and gentlemen, and Dignitas is looking hot here. 800, 950 gold bounty across the team to be picked up. 500 of that is on to Phoenix. 4, 0, and 2. 2018. 218 CS to 205. As we look at that bot lane, second Drake gets picked up in the form of Ocean, as we're 2 away from souls on both sides. But looking at Apollo and Phoenix, we talked about him a little bit earlier. I was saying Apollo is #1 at plus 9.8 CSD at 10, while Phoenix is -7, which is the lowest at 10, but still stands. And his power comes from the fights. We've seen this, we've seen his MF, we've seen his Varus, we've seen other things coming from Phoenix that it just seems like he fits in this marksman position. So those laning stats come up, and he becomes even more of a formidable opponent. And he has just kind of been wowing here from this marksman position to start off the 2020 spring split for Academy. Awesome stuff to see down there from the mid laner, previous mid laner, I should say. As Immortals play a little bit of cat and mouse here with the blue buff on the side of Dignitas. They'll steal that away and take really anything they can get at this point. They're not behind, but they need some confidence boosts. Those fights did not look like Dignitas was going down. So it kind of makes you think, how do we initiate again? Well, we have the Ornhorn, that's good. Woo. That was a Cataclysm up. There's a flash up. That Cataclysm is a much lower cooldown than Flash, and Apollo's very happy that he's got some speedy hearts to run with him. But yeah, we're looking at these fights, and It's going to be quite interesting. Insanity still has the damage. Apollo can still rip out the damage. Gate, his pulls are becoming a little less effective here, I would say, with the stopwatches being played. But now that those are down, pulls, I guess, mean a little bit more, if you will. So I stand corrected by myself. 0-0 and 8 DeMonte as we look around the scoreboard. We get 2-0 and 5. Lorlo, fantastic job on the top side, kind of switching the play style of what he has to do. Like I said, Lorlo likes to be that aggressive player. We know him for his Aurelias, his Aatroxes, kind of going hard. Obviously, everybody's been playing the Ornn as well, but besides that, getting under the Soraka and kind of being, it's not hard, but it is definitely a mentality shift in where you're not going forward. You do have to play a slower lane, and sometimes that can be a little boring. But you know what? Winning is not boring, and that's exactly the route that Phoenix and team are on. There's another stopwatch play. Flag and drag is in. Acadian takes quite a bit of damage. Here comes the Grand Starfall, and it's going to be a Lorm into the fight. They have lost Apollo and a lot of the DPS here on the side of Immortals. They may have to turn tail. They could be onto Lorlo enough to take him down, but there's the heal coming in, and Insanity was baited in by the Soraka. Ole pushes the rest of the team out of the fight with a time Kench licks. And he figures out how much pressure he can add alone. Alorm throwing the Comet Spears back, and once again, it's getting to be a little too strong for with a Soraka comp. The redemption is there. You can see the Athenes all charged up to 168 on the stacks, goes up to 250, and that can happen almost immediately when you're hitting things. So Lorlo is just dishing out the heals against the DPS. All right, TP coming in here from Alorm. What can he do to get into the fight? He does not have the Starfall to get in, and he's just going to be able to run the team around. Insanity's waiting for another 50% on that cooldown for his Ornhorn, and they're going to Abyssal Voyage back behind him. He never expected it. Alorm goes down and is sent to the Pantheon. He can hang out there for 42 seconds with the other gods. 27 minutes on the clock, and Dignitas looks to have full control. Falling behind only looked like what was happening for Dignitas. It was an Immortals who had them in the first half, but it was only the first half. Dignitas now coming back, and they look strong. And it's almost impossible to defeat the Soraka comp once they get ahead like this. Unless you can get the Baron and just push in every wave while keeping Phoenix down, then they basically have no way to clean up Baron minions, but you're getting into small windows. You actually have to win that fight before you can get Baron. A very small window right now. Dignitas is spreading. The pressure they're creating with the fight is super strong, and Insanity never has more than 1 or 2 people to ever Ornhorn. It's close to 3, but never more than 2. He's not been able to have follow-up by Alorm more than after the fight, or if it's been a reactive ultimate from the Grand Starfall. So it's tough. I definitely seeing compositions. Immortals had the fight comp. I'm always ready to see fights, but looking at what Dignitas could do, they were patient to wait for the fights, and now they have to dance it out, which is almost more fun to watch, right? You can get the shock and awe. There's going to be a few people knocked up, blasted by Brittle. You get exploded. Here comes the bullet time, and wait, where'd everybody go? But kind of seeing Dignitas whittle people down, figure out what the next target needs to be as their health is reset is really interesting to watch in these comps. I like it. A lot of people can say, oh, that's Rocky comp is boring. It's probably pretty agitating to play against. But to really watch how much you can see the players organizing the next damage to be dealt to this person or the next, I feel is pretty cool. We'll see what happens here. My eyes are on DeMonte and Phoenix again in the fight. You're not so much watching Lorlo. He'll be a full focus to get jumped on. He'll be healing. If he's not, I think Dignitas goes down, and we'll know when that happens. But watching where DeMonte and Phoenix can position themselves to stay safe. We've seen Ole going back and forth between saving DeMonte, saving Phoenix, being able to get both in a good position. And with those stopwatches down, it gets a little scarier, and Ole really has to pick and choose here because he doesn't have that safety of the support item. 5 minutes on that next Drake. Ocean for the Soraka comp. I mean, really? What else could you ask for? Absolutely amazing. Phoenix there with a bit of overheal shield. Feels nice. He'll be able to stack that up. Lasts quite a bit of time, so going into the fight doesn't feel like you have to attack minions right away or attack something and then go fight with a shield. You can wait on that. This would be a great pull for Gate. This is one of those channels where it's hard to cross the walls, and Ornhorn right back across the choke is going to be perfect, but again, not able to happen in that situation. Slowly fizzled out. Looks like Immortals is going to move themselves topside, get a bit of vision clear with a few members. and then get themselves back to safety. Dignitas says no. Oh, they're just gonna start it. Pantheon's bot teleports down. He's gonna have to jump into the fight, and it's not exactly a full map ultimate. You can see him running up already as Baron is down to just about half HP. 3 members of Immortals sit atop Baron. Apollo by himself on the bottom. They're gonna have to join with him, or it's too scary for him to even stand there to throw out bullet time. 1 member hit by the Oran Horn as they don't really have vision across it, but there goes the star call from Ellerim, and he's in. Back by the Baron pit. Alorim's going to be taking quite a bit of damage. Dignitas now again situating which person they want to fight. Insanity's going to be the first one to take quite a bit of damage. Apollo only gets his ultimate off for a few seconds, and Insanity now going to be the one to go down first as Dignitas waits it out again. A 3-man cataclysm coming in from Dignitas, Acadian, and there goes Immortals left and right. Potluck's going to be able to get himself to safety, I think. And he may even have been in that cataclysm if they were all just so muddled up. The dog pile goes down, and Acadian shows why he is one of the junglers with the top KDA. Sorry, the top jungler with the #1 KDA. Beautifully done there. And he's not even one, as I said before, one of the top 3 KDAs in this game. That's Apollo, Phoenix, and Lorlo. But Acadian is the top KDA for junglers, so like I said, this game was going to have a lot of action to it. We're already at 20 kills at 31 minutes. Potluck doing what he can to get closer to Baron, but it's not going to be enough. The heals coming in to make sure they can do the 2-man over there, or the man and goat, if you will, and they get out alive. Beautifully done. Dignitas feeling great about their situation. Now 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on that Ocean Drake. 7-0-5 for Phoenix. Crazy stuff for him. And the KDAs were 15.5, right, for Apollo. That's the #1 overall. Lorlo's is 15.2 at #2 overall. And Phoenix, so that's even not that far from Apollo. And Phoenix is 10.2. So this game, definitely going to bring up Phoenix's KDA. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Sitting on a pretty good scoreline right now, and he might even be challenging Apollo there as he moves up a bit. It'll take a few games. Averages are a little harder than just 1 game to get those points in, but great stuff by Phoenix coming out here. A level over his opponent, actually, in this current game. Demonte is level 17 to Insanity's 14. Ornn wants the 3rd level of Ultimate. That feels good. You want that cooldown. You want to be able to spit him out as much. But there's such a discrepancy in this game, it makes it difficult for that power to be comparable right now. And Insanity's not had time to follow up on the combos. We've seen clean Ornn combos. We've all seen it. It does lots and lots of damage. But there's not really a chance to get it out on this Dignitas team. 7-1 Dignitas versus the 6-2 Immortals. It looks like they could be moving to 8-1. Immortals really hoping to tie up the #1 team with this game. Still have a chance, but they are going to have to find a way to the back line. A true back to front fight here for Immortals. They have to get around Acadian. They can't be scattered. Can't be Chain of Corrupted. How do you get to Lorlo? You have so many people that can get to the back line. But how do you kill Lorlo? There's more questions to be answered once you get there. It's like a quest line. You need to get through. It's tough. 33 minutes on the clock. Dignitas now slowly pushing in every advantage they have. They haven't really been able to work on top side too much, but mid lane now getting pushed out by Immortals as they want some breathing room. Bot side's going to take quite a bit of damage. Insanity has a good chance to put down a nice Oran Horn here, but he only sees a few members. Phoenix in his eyes, and they are going to be able to knock him up. The follow-up comes in. Nice stack on the turret. Bellows Breath coming through as well. Now Resurrection coming in for Ole as he had the Guardian Angel. He's back up now. He can save a teammate. Double kill coming in for Demonte as he's going to make that score padded a little bit more. A triple kill for Demonte. Gates now in the eyes of him. No slow coming from that Orb of Deception. And they move on to the inhibitor. That's a clean fight coming in as they baited Immortals into one more fight. That's all it took at 17-6. What a fight and a game from the #1 team as Dignitas takes the game over Immortals.